Normally we're working on things like this, fixing this old backhoe, working on the pond, maybe the bell tower, maybe some dirt work, working on our boat-themed rental cabin in the woods. That's where the Captain Kleeman comes from, by the way. I'm a fake boat captain of a fake boat. By the way, we've been making progress on that. We just haven't put any of the videos together. We'll have some videos towards the end of June, but we're still making progress on it. We're working on our F700 dump truck, which, by the way, if you're here for those videos, we found a way to make that Ford EFI 460 to replace that Ford 429. Parts are showing up today. So that is also progressing really well. Video's coming on that soon too. But when the Admiral calls and says, hey, my AC's not working, we drop everything and we get it figured out. This is not our normal content by any means. So if you're here for our normal content, this might be a little bit different for you. I hope you stick around and watch it. And if you're here for some entertainment and the possibility to learn a few things from a guy who just doesn't really know what he's doing but can't afford the people that do, I hope you stick around as well. You can see we're halfway through the job of getting the AC compressor replaced. Travel back in time a little bit, start at the beginning, meet up here in the middle, getting everything buttoned back up, and then at the end, we'll talk about all the prices that were involved in this, the shop diagnosis, the tools I had to buy, and how much parts cost, including some other parts we're changing out while we're in here just because of ease of access. Hope you guys stick around because I think this is going to be pretty fun. We had it diagnosed. I did a self-diagnosis and determined that the compressor is bad. Then we took it someplace, had them diagnose it, and they agreed. They said the compressor is in fact bad. We kind of checked everything else out. I checked my own stuff out without telling them I checked it out, and then they told me the exact same thing. So I think we're on the right track. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is not a how-to video, okay? This is just a how I do. I can't afford to pay the place that I took it to have it diagnosed to diagnose the dang thing, to be quite frank with you. So I certainly can't afford to pay them to put the daggone compressor in. So we're gonna try it ourselves. It may take 17 tries, but I thought I was gonna have something optimistic to say there, but I don't. I don't. See this right here? Nope, that's not it. It's all the way on the bottom. It'd be cool if it was up here, but it's all the way on the bottom. I looked at maybe taking the tire off and going through the wheel well, but all the bolts that attach it come out this way. So I'm thinking the best bet might be take all the trim off, take the fan out, and get us some room in front of it. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm guessing you're not either because that's why you're here. So these came out fine. Probably I'll disconnect the battery. All right, that's good. Good start. We're just gonna go ahead and break off the battery connection. That's about the best way I know how to. This is gonna be fun, huh? We're all right. Should just pop off. The hose should come out of that clip. The hose should come out of that clip. And that is out of the way. If I was thinking about just taking the whole front end out, it'd give me just gobs of room. These are just clips, right? Whenever you don't know what you're doing, the more access you can give yourself, I think the better. There's a pro amateur tip for you. Now we're doing something. Oh, yes. One more. Got it. These tabs right there. Just lift them up so that lip doesn't catch. Oh, sorry about that. Not intentional. Also, if you are using this as a how-to, which again, we strongly advise against, I'd wait to watch the whole thing before you make any decisions, because there's a good chance I'll say, you know what, didn't need to do that. Could have done this, that kind of thing. So that's my unsolicited advice. Slightly solicited because you're here, I guess, but so far all the same. Nope, not ratchet on those. Daggone it, a wrench? See if that'll come off now. It does. What we got attached to it? The hood cable. Gently caress that clip out of there for the hood cable. There we go. Okay. Obviously we'll have to refill it with coolant, but the car's got 150,000 miles on it. Who's to say a little coolant flush isn't going to be the worst thing for the radiator anyway? The system's already been drained. We already had that taken care of. Should be able to disconnect the condenser here and here. My only concern is I didn't buy these O-rings. I didn't really think about it. Hopefully they're not in too bad a shape. We don't tear them up. And then we can drain the radiator. Got the radiator draining. Just have to keep an eye on it. There's probably more than what that bucket can hold, but The drain valve is right there at the bottom, and they've got a hole in the other pan. Should be able to go ahead and do this upper real quick though. Just give it a little twist, break it loose on the plastic. Not so aggressive that it tears the rubber. And it should come right off. Beautiful. Then we should be able to go ahead and start making our disconnections for all the wiring harnesses that are on the fan. I'm gonna zip this pan off the bottom. I think it's gonna be a little easier to get to that lower radiator hose if we do. These are all 10s, it looks like, and then a few clips. That plastic shield has two different types. It has, basically, this is plastic to plastic. That's on the ground now. And that is plastic to some sort of metal frame underneath it. We'll clean those up before we put them back in. So now I've got super easy access to the lower radiator hose right here. This hose I disconnected from the engine side of the operation, but I still got to get this one disconnected as well. I've got everything disconnected except for the condenser and whatever's holding it in the bottom. I'm guessing it's just a couple bolts under here, probably one on each side. I'll get that condenser undone. I put my gauges on just a second ago just to double check that we are in fact empty, and we are. I feel like I fell out of hold his breath just in case, so you know. So these have O-rings on them, and on the connection there's a little notch there, and on this one there's a little notch there. And I just took a flathead, put it in that notch, and just kind of carefully wiggled it back and forth and walked it out. Don't know if it's the right way. It's one of these maneuvers, you know. But it worked. Those don't look like they line up with the radiator. It just sits there. There's no bolts. Where that lower radiator hose comes out, it's catching the AC lines. We're just gonna work it up past. There's a couple little brackets that are just kind of hanging on wires, but pretty much pull straight out. We'll lean this very expensive piece precariously up against the carport. Look at all the room for activities now. Looky there. That's pretty good access. To there. We got all our mounting bolts right there. I mean, it's still kind of tight, but looks pretty doable. This is pretty good access. So these are 10 mil. Oh, excellent. That socket's getting pretty hot. I need a good way to cool it down. Guessing it's got an O-ring on it too. Should be able to just wiggle and pull. Yep. Another 10 mil. Okay. It's like it's got a separate bracket for the wiring under here. I think I can take those, should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 bolts on the bottom, and a bracket in there, and then we have 2 nuts on the top. 12 mil. The torque spec is only 18 foot-pounds on these, so I don't expect them to be too crazy. But oh God, I don't like that. That one came off fine. See, I like that. I like that a lot. I don't like what's happening on this other one. Oh no, gosh, oh gosh, don't do this to me. Okay. Now, do we think there's threads on the end of that? Or do we just think, yeah, I obliterated it? Because, you know, I'm okay at this point. It's just obliterated it. Good, that's what I was hoping for. Well, you know what they say, every 5-hour job is one broken bolt away from setting the car on fire and rolling it down the hill. As far as the tensioner goes, here's what I did. I don't have a long enough ratchet or wrench to reach down there, so I just put a pipe on that. There's a pinhole down there, and if fellow's gonna replace the tensioner or anything on that side of the engine, I think the best route would be tire off and inner wheel well off. Probably be the best bet. You can put that pin in and hold that tensioner in place, or you can just cram the old Pittsburgh 11/16 right up here, and it'll hold it for you. This guy's got all the answers. They're wrong, but he's got them. Anyway, belt's off of it. Could very easily be some other components here that I'm not seeing, because it's not moving, so that seems suspicious. I don't know, maybe some wax from a dead blow could help a fella out. This is not the time. Tell me why. I'm confident it's caught up on that one that broke. It's probably seized in that hole. I got movement on the top too, so I just kept tapping around on her, you know, give her some real gentle boops with a sledgehammer. Anyway, we got some movement now. The only other thing I might do, this harness is kind of in the way. It's got to come all the way out because of the studs. So I might see if we can't undo, I might just undo that bolt. Undo this alternator wiring. The alternator unhooked, and then I got one more little harness up here if I can get that undone. Oh, can I come this way with it? Oh, we can come this way with it. We can get it all to come. This way. Like that. Oh yeah, that's the ticket. All right, let's see what that is. Now it's stopping me. This lower radiator hose? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to take this hose off the rest of the way. Get that lower out of the way. Okay. Surely now. Oh yes. Come on. Make the turn. You're home free, baby. Oh, there's the bolt stuck in there. Quick review. We unhooked that sensor, alternator, and all this harness. And we got it on this side of the oil dipstick, the lower and the belt off. And of course, everything we took off up here. I think that's the best way. I think it'd be super difficult to take that out any other way. That took me about 2.5 hours of just trying to figure it out. So here's new, old, obviously. There were a couple different options. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. There's a couple different options. One was the amount of grooves in the pulley. So we've got a 7 groove. So we got that matched up. That looks right. These are just plugs. Keep that orifice blocked. But those look good. Bolt holes line up. These all look right. Looks like there's a little minor difference in this bracketry style, but I think if we wanted, we could just switch that bracket out with this one probably, and I think I'm probably going to do that. Now, as much as I would love to just send this with 3 of the 4 bolts, something tells me that we'd have some pretty big issues in the long run if we did that. I feel like the trouble it'll cause me if something does go wrong by just doing 3 instead of 4, trouble it's going to cause me is going to be way more time consuming than the amount of time it's going to take to try to get that one out. Well, we're spinning, but I think we're just breaking the nut off. I don't think I got anything. Nope. Nope, get off there. Oh, get off the harness. Okay. Sometimes doing the right thing takes a little longer, but by golly, we got her. I don't think it matters the brand. I think they're all probably about the same because the components are all probably pretty similar and made in the same factory. But these little 110 welders, pretty handy if what you're working on isn't at the shop. So we're gonna go ahead and slide this on without the bolt. We're gonna get the bolt. We're just gonna slide it and get it in place. But I'm gonna switch that bracket. So that's gonna go just like that. And the way they had it, it captured this wire. And this, let's see, this ran up, it had this like this like this, just a quick buzz probably. Can't imagine it needs much more than that. 3 bumps. My gosh, calm down, Mike. Another thing to mention is there is a note right here, and it says it. This is pre-filled with oil. I guess not all of them are. It did say in the manual, or in the paper that came with it, to just give this a few spins. That way the oil gets all the way around the seal, so the first time it starts up at high RPM, there's not a dry spot on the seal, which makes sense. So be sure to do that. And on the studs. Why? So I could not find this exact bolt replacement, but I did go down to the local mom and pop shop and found the same bolt, just, you know, different. It's got the same amount of shoulder on it, same amount of thread on it, thread pitch and everything's the same. Feels like it's starting okay. I'm just gonna run it in, get everything snug, started everything by hand. A lot of times on my stuff, I'll just ram slam it in there, but this is like the one nice vehicle. I don't like that. I should put some lube on it or something. That makes it hard to torque it accurately. So I'm gonna cheat here. I'm just gonna take the old dipstick and I'm just gonna grab a few drops. Okay, good on that one. While we have good access right here, let's go ahead and put this belt back on. But because this rig's got 160,000 miles on it, and this belt runs a lot of things that'll really ruin my year if it breaks, we'll go ahead and swap it out. We got a Gates, picked it up at the mom and pop shop this morning. There's this one cover right here, and I think if I take that cover off, we can see the bottom part of where that belt's supposed to go, and that's going to help us get this stuff out easier. 10 mil. Is there stuff in the front of this? That's it. So the gap I'm fighting is between the water pump and the frame. It's hard to get that thing twisted to get her slid out, but we get that out and she should be out of the way. Let's see if they're the same. Yep. They're both 7 grooves. From the bottom side, we got great access to making sure we're lined up here. And there's the AC clutch right there. So that's good. All right, we're on the crank good. We're on the water pump good. We're on the alternator good. Lined up on the compressor. Everything else looks good. All right. Well, that was fun, huh? That's neat. What a hoot that was. Yeah, we'll get this slid back on first. There we go. Now I think we're finally ready for wiring harnesses. That clipped in there. That clipped in there. There. Let's see. That all should be, we'll just smash those, that's fine. And then that goes. Nope, just kidding. Like that. Awesome. That should be all of our wiring hooked up. We should be able to install these lines next. Pick up some new O-rings as well. These are all the O-rings in the entire AC system. It's inexpensive. It's pretty much the way the fellas got to get them. If you know what you're doing, you could probably get what O-ring you want and just buy it individually, but we got the whole pack. So I'm just going to do one at a time. We'll get this one picked off. And I'm just gonna go through the bag and see what compares to it. That's what I came up with. I think that'll do the trick. Get her rolled on there. The instructions that came with the compressor said to use the new bolts that come with it. So we pull this plug out. It is plugged because it is pre-filled, is mine. Pre-filled with oil, I should say, not charged, obviously. So gently push it in there. The torque on this is pretty low, so we're just going to run it in. Not even a bump. So I found 48 inch-pounds. That's what I'm going to run it. Which is not a lot. Okay, that's good. If I'm thinking right, we can go ahead and slide that radiator and condenser back in. That's a bad spot to put my hands because now I can't. There we go. Bottom lined up. Those are hooked up with new O-rings, and I gotta get them torqued down. I found 89 inch-pounds. You might find something different. Okay, so we still have all the radiator hoses to get hooked up, obviously. But what I want to do, because the instructions that came with the compressor, oh my gosh, say that compressor or the system should be evacuated for at least an hour. I want to go ahead and get that process going, and now that we've got the system closed up, we should be able to do that. There are dozens of manufacturers of this kit on Amazon. I'm sure all made in the same place, probably. I think I paid 150 bucks. I'll give you the exact cost at the end. Just got that one clipped to the low side, this one to the high side. The good news is manufacturers knew we would have access to Amazon, and DIY mechanics would be a problem. So these are two different size ports. Can't really mix them up. And that is open. It's closed. And then our yellow line runs to the little vacuum pump. And the idea is this pulls vacuum on the system and evacuates any kind of moisture or anything that's left in that system. That's the whole concept. Got my exhaust cap removed. Fire the pump up, and hopefully we get a vacuum up here on the gauge. And then we will start the clock for 1 hour. Everything on this top side was these short 10 mils. We got to get the hood release cable wiggled back in here. Let's see. Might be easier to do it with this up like this. Okay. Having a clue where all of these went. Oh, it goes over here. Oh, these are for the horns. I'm worried about breaking this piece, but roll in there. And a bunch of clips. There's certainly a risk, and I'm not even going to say it because I don't want it to come true. I'm just going to ignore it. I knew there's a danger in putting that on already. That's supposed to be bolted underneath it. Okay. This. Like that. So this line here, this clamp's just pretty rusty and bad shape, so we're going to replace it with a stainless hose clamp. One less thing we got to worry about. Go ahead and shut this pump down. It has been touch over an hour. Now we'll just leave it sit for a little bit and we'll watch this gauge, check back on it in about 10-15 minutes. Hopefully, it's reading the same thing on the vacuum, and then we know we don't have any leaks. While we're waiting, we should be ready to go ahead and start putting some coolant in. I used to have all these fancy attachments to this where you could put it on there and then burp the thing while it ran. I don't have those anymore. I'm just using it for a funnel at this point, and it doesn't even fit in the hole. So, it's been about 15 minutes. This is holding right where it was on the gauge, so that's good. I'd be pretty disappointed if we had a leak at this point. And because I'm not an official tech or whatever, I don't know. I don't have the privileges to buy the big fancy cans of 134A, so I buy it off of Amazon. It says 134A, replacement refrigerant. I don't know if it's actually 134A or not, but it says you can use it on 134A systems, and it's, you know, thousands of reviews and everybody says it's great. You know, it's hard to see the gauge from the glare, but you should see some refrigerant coming through there once we open this up. Open it all the way until the can's empty, then we'll run a couple more cans. Still see a little bit going in. It slows down pretty quick. They're small cans, but still see a little coming in. And I can still see a little rise on the pressure gauge. So until that completely stops, we'll let that can empty out and then we'll do another one. While we're waiting on that, we'll go ahead and throw torque on these wheels. So battery's hooked up. I think everything's hooked up, but we're gonna find out right quick. We're fine. I think that's just that belt getting itself lined out on the idler and tensioner. Yeah, it went away pretty quick. She made me nervous though. She did. She was a sound I didn't like. Okay. Let's see if we can get that clutch to kick in. Open this. And then I need to turn that AC on max, full blast. But we're gonna open this so we can meter some based on what I've seen on the internet. So if you look down there, you can see the compressor's engaged, the clutch is engaged. Looks like she's spinning fine. Belt looks good. We have pressure on the high side. So what I saw on YouTube, and what I did on my Ford Ranger, is I ran this gauge up until it was just over 200. So I just kept adding coolant or refrigerant until it was up over 200. Some people said that's not right. You're supposed to look up how much the car takes. Well, let's see if she's toasty in here. We got the low side disconnected. Close the high side. Probably a little residual. Yep. Oh, it's frigid in here. It is frigid. That's good. Couldn't figure out what the whistling was. The vent was closed weird. Very fancy. This is nice. A little leather. Huh? That's fancy. I'm used to my clapped out rigs. I might have to steal this tomorrow while she's out of town. Moonroof? Oh gosh. What, this guy hit the lottery? Does he work for NASA? Where's he get this money from? By driving clapped out rigs myself. I don't know that I'd classify this as like a beginner DIY project, and this definitely isn't a how-to video, but if a fella felt the need to tackle it, the only specialty tool I had to buy that I didn't own was the AC kit, which was $135 off Amazon. It came with the gauges in the vacuum pump. Torque wrenches, impacts, all that stuff I've already got. If someone didn't have them and they wanted to tackle this, you can rent the torque wrenches and stuff. You can rent from most of the auto parts store. They take a deposit and you get your money back when you get it back. Everything else we've already got, including the little welder here. So that's not going to include that in the cost. So $135 for this, called specialty tools. The compressor came off Rock Auto as a UAC pre-filled 7-groove pulley. That was $350. The refrigerant, which I still don't think it's 134A, it says replacement for, which makes me feel like it's not 134A, but tons of people, there's thousands of reviews, people saying it's fine. And a lot of the forums I got on as far as doing this myself said that that works fine. So that's what we ran with. That was 50 bucks. That's for 6 of those cans. A couple of those I used over on the Ranger, but that was for 50 bucks. And then the coolant to refill the radiator, the serpentine belt, we'll include it in the price because why wouldn't you change it when you got it off? The O-rings and the replacement bolt for the bolt I broke was 100 bucks. So 100 bucks for all those parts, 350 for this, 135 for the tools, 50 for the coolant. Should be around 635 bucks total to do this job. Time-wise, conservatively, I'm gonna say it took me about 8 hours to do this. I'm gonna say 4 of those hours were looking for tools that I just set down and I couldn't figure out where the heck I put them. Realistically, if you're organized, you could probably do it in 6. According to RepairPal.com, this is a receipt for nothing. It felt flare-y, you know, I want to try it. RepairPal.com, if you take this to a shop, it's going to be anywhere from $1,500 to $2,200. So even if we're on the low end, we're still well beyond half of what it would cost. That doesn't include, I did some self-diagnosis to figure out this was the problem, because at $350 just for the compressor, it's kind of an expensive parts cannon to just fire at it and hope for the best. But I ended up taking it to a guy I know. He didn't charge me anything for it. He's just a good friend, but he diagnosed it and agreed. He said, yep, I checked a couple other things, and I agree it is your compressor that is in fact bad. So you might have to pay for diagnosis if you're not 100% sure. This entire thing failed, and I had to replace every part I just put on because I messed something up. We would still be cheaper than the cheapest $1,500 average on RepairPal. So that's why I tackled it. Why the heck wouldn't you try it? Worst case scenario, she's going down the road and the daggone thing quits cooling again, and we got to problem solve it and go from there. Can we all agree that the strobe function on pin lights is, like, we don't need that?